This is the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Welcome to this edition of the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. I'm your host, John Solberg, and this episode is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought-after 100% Australian non-crossbred Wylarah 9 Plus briskets. And as always, they are handpicked just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for the past 15 years. Every week, they ship out competition-quality meats to many of the biggest names in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use the Butcher Shop win, and they win often. Not a competitor, but still have an eye for the finer cuts in life? I've got some great news. The Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of the cul-de-sac. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock, and again, always handpicked for you. You might be saying, John, all this sounds great, but what about the exotic stuff? Well, rest easy knowing the Butcher Shop will get you your next elk steak or camel roast. They'll ship it out promptly. Yes, that's right, they got camel. So let's review. The best competition briskets, check. The best pork selection, check. Giving you better overall options to cook at home, check. Give the Butcher Shop a call today, 850-458-8782. That's 850-458-8782. Be sure that you mention the Barbecue Central show for 10% off your entire order. They're going to do that each and every time you call. You can also get a hold of them on their Facebook page, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop, shop spelled S-H-O-P-P-E. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Wylarah 9 Plus briskets. And this is what is going on in today's show. We're going back to November 26, 2013. Greg's going to talk with Harry Sue about his mini tamale pot WSM.
Next question, and perhaps this falls under the Harry Sue barbecue kook file, but back in October, on the 19th, you were able to fulfill a dream, and probably only of yours. And look, you've been on the show a number of times in the past, and you have always been one who truly lives and believes that the minimalist footprint in competitions is the way to go, and you try and exemplify that each and every time you cook. But you really took this deal to a whole new level back in October, didn't you?
Yes, I fulfilled a kind of a crazy, nutty dream of mine, which was to cook an entire KCBS Sanction contest on a mini little Smoky Joe with a tamale pot mounted on top. Those are euphemistically known as MINI WSMs. They have a 12-inch grate in there, so there isn't very much room to be able to cook the pork butt and brisket and ribs and chicken. And to complicate matters even further, I made the dessert entry, which was a pineapple grilled cheesecake in it. So I was just amazed that I finished 10th overall, and I finished first in ribs, first in dessert and first in ribs, and a couple of three other different walks. So I'm just completely amazed that it was even possible. I did it out of kind of a personal challenge because I wanted to see how far I could push the envelope, and I wanted to bring out that Southern engineer in me so that I could improvise and try different techniques to try to get all that meat into that little tamale pot. But, overall I succeeded, and I was very happy with the results. After the contest, I wrote myself 10 different improvements, and who knows, you might see me cook regularly on that mini tamale pot on a Smoky Joe for 2014.
How many practice runs did you do prior to that? Because when you go, if you go to slapyoDaddyBBQ.com and you go to the blog and you read that post, you have a lot of great pictures, but if people have never seen the setup, it really looks like, Smoky Joe that got just kind of made taller. That doesn't increase the width or the ability to really hold a ton more meat, and you're putting on barbecue competition meat. How many practice runs did it take to really kind of hone the skill there for you to feel confident enough to do it in a contest?
Well, actually, I actually went to a contest after trying out twice. And the first run was to make sure that I could fit the pork butt and have the brisket on top of the pork butt without the brisket grate touching the bottom grate. So the way my tamale pot is set up, it was actually built by Chris Almquist out of Arizona. And he built me one that I actually used at the Jack Daniel's 2012. And I cooked my chicken breast entry in it. So what I thought might be possible is if I could cook one pork butt and a lower grate, cook my brisket flat, only cut into a circular kind of a shape on the top grate, I could fulfill the requirement to turn in 6 servings of brisket and 6 servings of pork. So that was the first run, and it went fairly well. The second run was a little bit more tricky because I wanted to cook 14 pieces of chicken in there, and 14 pieces of chicken would take up 2 trays, but I only had 2 grates in the tamale pot. So I had to jury rig a little chicken roaster to prop a 3rd grate on top so I could cook the ribs and chicken without the chicken dripping on the ribs. So that was the second part was actually the more challenging and more fun part of the whole adventure that I had.
Will you be trying the mini version at the King of the Smokers on the 6th?
You know, I'm very tempted, but given that, you know, there's going to be 24 of the best teams in America there, I think I will hedge my bets. I might bring the mini just for fun. But you know, I have to be really serious about that event because that's really, you know, for the top bragging rights in the nation. So I would be foolish to try to, you know, pull off such a stunt at such an event.
My favorite barbecue coup, Carrie Sue, known for the small footprint. Interesting fact, did you know that Weber introduced the 14-inch Weber Smoky Mountain in 1981? They discontinued it in 1983 because of lack of sales. And with the resurgence of popularity, with everybody making those tamale pot minis, they reintroduced that in 2013. I still need to get one. I don't have one. I'll have one someday. Go check out the rest of this show over at the bbqcentralshow.com. Link in the show notes. Please make sure you check out the Butcher Shop over on the internet, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. Mention the Barbecue Central Show and save 10% off your entire order. Until next time on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I'm your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.